So you might be wondering how to sing high notes without pulling your chest voice up all the time so that you can sing freely. Well, in this video, I've got you covered with a very specific vocal technique so that you can avoid that vocal break that sometimes happen or feeling of tension when singing those high notes. Let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm the founder of the Singing Insiders, in which I'm helping passionate singers just like yourself become the best versions of themselves through singing. And in these episodes, you're going to get practical tools, techniques, exercises, and insights to really help you up-level your singing skills. So let's look at what it actually takes to stop pulling your chest voice up when you're trying to sing high notes. Now, in order to truly get this, we need to first go back and understand some common mistakes that beginner singers tend to make, which is, first of all, beginner singers, they tend to only sing in one register. And if you don't know what registers are, we're going to be talking about them. But beginner singers, they tend to sing in either chest voice or head voice. And that's a problem. I'll tell you why later in this episode. So also, many beginner singers, they think that feeling hoarse after singing high notes is normal and common. Again, that might not entirely be true. Also, beginner singers, they believe that their chest voice is the only option, which is a logical thing to think because we're oftentimes speaking in chest voice. So the transitioning from speaking to singing is easily made. And then many beginner singers think that that's where it ends, when actually there's much more to discover. And many beginner singers also believe that their range is their range. I know I used to think that. I used to think, well, those high notes are not for me. My voice is just not made for those high notes. I don't have the talent, when actually the opposite is true. And once you're noticing yourself either believing those things or noticing those mistakes, that's a good thing because we get to catch them, being aware of them, and then switch them. Because a trained singer, they know that vocal freedom is all about combining different vocal registers. They know that hoarseness is a sign of a wrong voice use, and it's not normal. So when a trained singer notices hoarseness, they do something about it. And it's oftentimes a wrong vocal technique. Also, trained singers, they know that there's more than one register to sing in. It's not only all chest voice. We've got the head voice, we've got the mixed voice, we've got the whistle registers. There's so many registers to discover. And trained singers really know that talent only gets you so far, when really it's the right type of training that will make the biggest difference for your vocal development. So let's look at what we need to do to stop pulling our chest when singing higher and higher. The first thing to really have to understand is the difference between chest voice and head voice. Because when I say pulling chest, that might not say anything to you. So first of all, give me a warm, low, do that with me. And if you're hesitant whether you're in chest voice or not, you can always place your hand on your chest. And many people, they feel it vibrate here when you're singing in chest voice. So let's try that together. Do you feel it vibrating? If not, try to drop down lower. Maybe you feel it vibrate there. Amazing. That's your chest voice. Now, oftentimes, what many beginner singers tend to do is take that chest voice and go, that's pulling chest. Because I'm going higher, but I'm staying in my chest voice, and then I'm tensing everything up. We don't want to have that. What we do want to have is vocal freedom. So how do we get there? Well, the second thing to be aware of is your head voice. Give me a yoo-hoo. That's your head voice. Do you feel the difference between yoo-hoo and this is chest, yoo-hoo, this is head voice. Now, we can go into the whole story of why these types of registered are labeled that way, but we will not do that on this episode because we can talk about hours and hours and hours about that. But the main thing is to know that you have two different registers. Now, we're going to sing a little song and we're going to try it out because I want you to get this vocal technique, not only in theory, but I want you to actually put it into practice. So we're going to be working today with I Was Here from Beyonce, which is a beautiful song, but we're going to work with the chorus. And the chorus goes like this. I was here, I lived, I loved, I was here, I did, I done. And we're just going to work with that piece of the chorus. So first of all, we need to understand what to sing. So if you don't know this song, I would encourage you to go back into this video and just make sure that you understand the melody and the rhythm so that you can sing this along with me. Once we have that, we can look at what the vocal techniques are to actually hit the high notes with a lot of freedom in our voices. So go back, scroll back in this video if you don't know the song, and I'm going to assume that you've done that so that you can sing this along with me. Okay, I told you earlier that there's two main different registers. Actually 3, but we'll talk about that later. Chest voice and head voice. Let's try and sing this all in chest and just notice what is happening. I'm going to hum it so that you know where we are in the song. I encourage you to use the actual words and sing it fully in chest and see what that does with your voice. Here we go. And beautiful. How was that for you? Now, you might have noticed that might be hard to sing in chest voice. And that's where you might notice that you're pulling your chest all the way up. So many beginner singers, they tend to do, I was here, where they're almost shouting instead of really singing. And if you would do that 2 hours at an end, you might be feeling a little bit hoarse afterwards. If that's not the case for you, that's perfect. That means you're doing it right. So let's look at the other side of the spectrum, and let's try to sing this same song, but all in head voice. So remember the yoo-hoo. Let's try and do that all in head voice. I was here. That's head voice. Again, I'm gonna hum. I encourage you to sing so that you hear your own voice. Let's do that together. Here we go. And what did you notice this time around? Some singers, they tell me, well, I don't really like the sound of my head voice. It sounds shaky, it sounds breathy, I don't have any control over it. What's going on, right? Now, if up until now you're finding this super valuable, don't forget to subscribe to this channel or to subscribe to this podcast, whatever way you're watching or listening to this. But let's keep going because the most important thing is actually coming up. So what we've done so far, we've activated the chest voice. We tried to sing it in head voice as well. We activated the head voice. The secret to sing high notes easily is to combine the two. Why? Because the chest voice is responsible for power. That's what we want to have. The head voice is responsible for height. Singing high notes means activating the head voice, and singing with power means activating the chest voice. And that's where it can get a little bit tricky for some of us, which is totally fine. With a little bit of practice, you will get there. But this is what they call mixed voice. Activating the head voice and the chest voice together. Now we can dive deeper into this, and we will, if you want to. For now, let's try and activate both of them together by first of all starting in head voice. I was here, and then we're going to add a little bit of twang. Twang is a vocal technique. Again, I could do a whole episode about it, so we're not going to dive deeper into it. But for now, twang is this witch sound. That's twang. Now try and add that effect onto your head voice. And sing the song in that way. I was here. That's my head voice combined with the twang. And that's where you can get high, powerful notes with lots of freedom. Let's try that together. Here we go. And I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done. And then it goes on. Everything that I wanted. That's the rest of the song. Anyway, you can sing the whole chorus. If you want to go and tackle this song, you could take the whole chorus and sing that in mixed voice. That's the key. So as you can see, mixed voice is really the key. And it's all a matter of really being able to activate the right vocal techniques. And mixed voice is one of the main ones if you want to experience vocal freedom. I actually have an episode for you explaining exactly how to use this mixed voice technique so that you can expand your range, sing those high notes easily. I've queued that up for you right here and in the link down below. So definitely after watching this episode, my biggest invitation to you would be to go and watch that video. Once you've done that, I'll see you there. And if not, I'll see you here again next week for our next episode. See you then. Bye.